Hello and welcome to Sporting Jibberish. I'm Stuart Booth.
I'm Jack Luffman.
How are we, Jack?
Oh, thank you. Long way.
Excited?
A little bit.
A little bit. He's a bit giddy. He's got a big game tonight.
Well, it's not really a big game.
I don't know if are you really excited for the chip butty I've just offered you?
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm just wondering if we can get a bit of gravy on the side.
In our house, gravy comes as standard.
Oh, that's all right. Northern lass.
Yeah, definite gravy.
Yeah, looking forward to tonight. It's a bit of lamp in the lights for probably since the ex-finals semi-final game. What, almost a year ago now. So it'll be good.
Well, hopefully I've got a bit better than last week, but we'll get to that in a second.
We'll get on it. We'll
just old horses.
That's one knife in.
All right, okay. Sorry, I thought I had a duck then, but we'll come back to that. Right, okay. Today on the podcast we're going to be talking Premiership. Interesting result last night, but we'll go into that in more detail in a minute. A little bit of discussion about under 21/23 youth football, which we actually had only about 10-15 minutes ago. A little bit of a discussion. Decided let's bring this to the pod
over a good cup of tea, by the way, you made me.
Yeah, totally.
Very
Not
good.
Yorkshire, just totally.
Very good cup of tea.
Thank you. Ashley's concluded and then has restarted.
Yeah.
For the ladies, and it's finished. We're going to be talking a little bit about tennis. Obviously, there's a small little tournament going on in Australia at the moment. If you haven't,
it's not been in the news, has it?
No, not at all. A little look at some transfer gossip, and we'll have the results from fantasy football from last week. But let's start with Jack and his cricket exploits from last Saturday after a heavy night at the Booth household.
What a night that was, by the way.
Charlie, I can't remember anything after the Jaeger bomb. Charlie, we had 3 more shots after that.
Yeah, Charlie was in a bad way. To be fair, I was okay. I was very tired, but I was okay. I had nothing to do with the performance. And we won anyway, so we're 2 from 2. Brannan Varley, the new signing, stepped up, got 80 odd not out. And the lads did the business with the boys. Good game. One of their players got 100, so it was good. So 2 from 2. We've got a week off this weekend. Did from the DSL, and we go again next weekend.
So just, how did your opening partnership go with Clint last week?
Not quite as good as the week before.
All right, okay. And how did Clint get on?
He went over, I think, got 30 or 40. He got out to a blinding catch, by the way.
What did he?
Like, he whacked one, and the bloke just went. He said that he was stuck, and then ran around like with his shirt off. It was quite funny.
Beautiful. But you were back available to watch from the pavilion.
Yeah, I was back in the thing. Showered, changed, fielding gear already.
and something to eat. Went home for a nap and then came back.
Yeah, I had a lot of time.
How did you get on?
Well, I was out first ball of the match, Stuart. First ball of the match. The lads dropped a ball that should have gone for 6, and I've somehow managed to not hit it and edge it to the keeper behind. It was a bit unfortunate because he was the only one the keeper caught all day, to be fair.
I wonder what goes on in your head, because I'm pretty sure, was it last week with Charlie, you were giving me stick about how many runs you'd scored in comparison to me not even scoring goals, even though I've been playing centre-back. And then lo and behold, the start of this season, we're back to where we were last time.
No. I've still scored more runs than you have goals this season, this half. I got 2 the week before, you only got 1 goal.
I've got 2 goals this season.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, we're level then. That's all right.
Right, 2
level
goals.
back in. No, it
That
was
like
one of those things that happens. Been there before. It'll happen. It's happened before, and no doubt it'll probably happen again at some point.
Hopefully not tonight. So tonight's game is not the DSL League.
No. So we're in the HKSZ or something it's called. It's a league. That's a company, I think, like a digital media company that runs a tournament from a Visions Cricket Centre in Sharjah. So I think it's a 5 or 6 team tournament we've entered midweek. And what it says on the thing that there's 3rd umpires, there's a slow motion replays, review system, and some sort of streaming on either YouTube or Facebook.
So we can actually watch you live, get out for now.
Yeah. So if I get the link, I'll forward it on to you all, so you can all have a laugh. But yeah, so it'll be good. It'll be looking.
So what time you just at 8 o'clock? So by the time I get to football, do my warm up.
Well,
you should be out.
We can have a chat, can't we, while you're warming up?
Yeah, it should be interesting.
No, positive. We'll battle away the next last night. It's one of them things, Stuart.
It's in your head, and I'm in there. I'm in there. You're going to be walking out. First thing you think is that guy starts and just gives the ball a bit of rub. You'll be thinking, "Oh, what did Stu say?"
What's he rubbing?
What did Stu say? And he's going to come in. It's going to be off it goes. Jack's going to play edge. Out you go. See you later.
We'll go all right tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see what occurs.
We shall see.
But yourself, you got a game tonight.
Unfortunately we've had to record this day early because I've been put on an awesome first day course tomorrow.
Hang on. When is it? Is it in the morning on our half day?
No, it's in my own time because that's what happens. Stu goes on courses, it's in his own time. Everybody else goes on courses in school.
Except last time I had conference was like all day at 6-star hotel on the Palm.
Beautiful, fared as well, weren't you? I saw the layout for that. It looked like a wedding.
Yeah, it was class.
Full course meal, beautiful.
Yeah,
So unfortunately, everybody else has gone home. I've got the 4 hours first aid, defib training. That's what I think of that. But so we've got our game tonight. We are playing Kickers, I think they're called, which is basically, for the lads here, is made up of just a group of Turkish lads. Which the last time I saw them play, the game got abandoned with 3 of them being knocked out by one of the players from Safa.
That's right, but you also said they're quite good, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a pretty strong team, so I think this year is going to be quite interesting because the Turks, which is Kickers, have got a good team. There's an Arabic team there, I think they're called Maserati or something.
Maserati.
not Maserati. And Dubai FC are going well at the moment. So, yeah, I think this is a game that everybody will be looking at this point because everybody's already written us off. And the league produced a write-up for the half-term thing, and it sticks a knife in. It was like the expected league leaders, All-Stars, found themselves in 8th place. Forgot to mention that we played 5 games less than everybody else.
I was going to say they played 2 games.
Yeah, and then it was talking about how one of our ex-players that had been, was it ex-All-Stars reject, has now signed for Dubai FC's leading goal-scoring charts. And everybody else is doing really well and we're rubbish.
Right, well then.
So
fuel to the fire.
It stoked a few people up and a little bit like, right, well, we'll see where we are because I worked it out with our games in hand, we got second.
Yeah.
We'll be 2 points off top, so we're not in the worst case scenario. So tonight will be an interesting one because I think Kickers are second. So it's a good testing point.
Must win.
Yeah, I prefer games where you expect it to be tight and hard because no point winning easily, is it, Jack? It's disgraceful. Absolute disgrace. Right, we'll quickly move on and we'll talk about last week's Premiership games. Oh, that's it. He's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Who doesn't it like it tight and hard? Right. I'll just carry on my own. This is the Stuart Booth podcast with guest Jack Luffman. Right, last week's games we had Brighton versus Crystal Palace, which finished in an exciting 1-1 draw. I can safely say I didn't watch that game. Man City Chelsea was a bit of a strange affair. I did watch this game.
I'll be honest, I don't think I watched any football last week.
Yeah.
Busy playing cricket.
Busy watching cricket.
Then I went to watch Chicago.
Yes, very interesting. But yeah, Man City won the game. It was a strange affair where it was Man City just battered Chelsea in the first half. And Chelsea just pinned in, didn't really get out. And then there's a few sparse counter-attacks from Chelsea. Maybe just picked the wrong option to try and get on the end of anything. And then De Bruyne has picked up this ball. He shrugged off Kante. And Kante's gone to try and foul him, but he's just too strong for him. And then just opened up and bent a beautiful shot in the corner. But unfortunately, and I feel a bit sorry for the Chelsea keeper, simply because Kepa, as he's about to shoot, he takes a little bit of a hop to the opposite side, and as he's mid-hop, that's when De Bruyne shoots. So by the time he lands and then moves, he's too slow to get across. But if he just kept his position, I think he saves it. But all in all, great strike. And I think City deserved 3 points and ruled Chelsea out of any potential league championship, I'd say.
Yeah,
and that was before the game that happened 2 nights ago.
Yeah, which they then drew at home away at Brighton.
Yeah, lost with Brighton. Brighton
equalised towards the end.
Yeah.
Is it now something after that? Is it? Might be wrong. Is it 6 or 8 games without a win or something in the Premier League?
It's something daft like that. Yeah, because they've drawn a fair few of them.
Because at the beginning of the season, I think we both said they looked like the real deal. But the Lukaku injury, and then there's something gone on there.
They were top of the league, I think, coming to December, and it's almost like the capitulates. Like Liverpool did exactly the same last season when we thought Liverpool were going to then go and kick on because they've been front runners before. They're going to kick on and go blow everybody else away. But unfortunately, it's not happened. So the only way City can lose the league now is they've got to lose a couple of games. I think 2 games, and Liverpool got to have a perfect season.
you just can't see City doing that because they're all. I mean, you talk about De Bruyne. I think it's been a fairly common conversation around, hasn't it? That has he lost it a little? He kind of just goes under the radar a little bit now, doesn't he? Because he's had that period of time out, injury and COVID, and either side of the champion Euros and all that kind of stuff. And yet he seems to be pulling the strings again, doesn't he? But because others are taking the plaudits, a bit of focus on Foden and Grealish, and should we have a striker? And obviously Silva's done really well, and all of a sudden he's coming to the fore, and you can't see that. They won't slip up.
No, for City to lose, realistically, I can't see Liverpool winning every game between now and the end of the season. So you've really got to say City are going to lose 3 games and maybe draw 2 or 3 games.
They've got each other to play, yeah?
Yeah, they've still got to play at City. But
so they've got to lose 2 games and then that one, really.
Yeah, so I can't see it. No. I think City are just so strong and so many different options that when one of the star players isn't playing well, they have exactly the same ability behind them to come in and step up.
They've got 2, if not 3 players per position, haven't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
particularly moving forward.
I'd say probably all across the park. Bar the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Everybody's as strong as anybody.
It's Scott Carson still the other
Scott Carson. No, they've got the American lad and then Scott Carson.
Yeah.
But you've got Cancelo, Zinchenko, Kyle Walker. Well, you would have had Mendy as well. So you've got 4 quality fullbacks there.
Then you've got
you've got Ake, Stones, Diaz, Laporte, 4 centre halves out of 2. You've got an abundance of midfielders and attacking forwards is frightening. And you've got young lads coming through like Carlton Cole. Is it Palmer Cole? Cole Palmer.
Yeah. I forgot there in the end.
I was like,
Friday, Sheffield Wednesday, the 90s, the 2000s.
I didn't want to say it's Carlton Palmer, but I'm getting there anyway. Right, moving onwards. Newcastle 1, Watford 1. Newcastle 1-0 up, look quite comfortable. Watford get the equaliser and then unlucky not to win the game.
Newcastle, I honestly think they're going to go down.
Well, they keep bringing in the occasional player, don't they, see if it helps, but until you sort that back line out, you are going to be
after the lad from Sevilla, aren't they?
Yeah. Then the game that final nail in the coffin for Rafa Benitez, Norwich 2, Everton 1. Everton staged some type of comeback in second half, but wasn't good enough.
You should go there then quickly. I know you've said it out.
So I said this, and I've had a discussion with an Everton fan as well, because obviously the favourites are like Rooney and Lampard.
And Martinez as well again.
And Martinez is back in there. Well, Martinez won't be a bad shout because of his experience in international level, but he's a lot more experienced than when he came around the park last time. But I'd go Graham Potter. I'd be like, Potter needs to step up to that next level of team. Everton have got financial backing. Yeah, you are going to have to clear off some deadwood, but why not go Potter?
When you said it, I thought, and then I was like, would he go from there? Would he go from what he's doing at Brighton to Everton? I think he would, because as much as you are like Everton are a big club.
Yeah. It's a next profile club, isn't it? Clubs are in stages.
And they've definitely got quality players, and you think about the likes of, actually, which was the twilight to give it, somebody like Andre Gomez in the midfield is better than anything he's got at Brighton.
Yeah.
And he's the fullbacks. They could front where they're a bit light, because I think McCarlison 2 in and out for me. Is he an out and out forward? I think so. Calvert-Lewin, I'm still jury's out on him, but I think he would do, because like I say, it's a natural. Then he goes all right there. He's got a chance of the next level.
I tell you what, as an Everton fan, what would frustrate me even more is you sack Benitez, but you just let your best left back go, didn't you? Why on earth? And let's be honest, how on earth are you going to replace Digne with 25 million of a player of Digne's quality?
Yeah, well, they've signed that young lad, haven't they?
From
Ukrainian lad, and the Rangers had a right back. Bizarre, because I know you couldn't drag that player in and say, look, just hold on a minute, he's likely to get sacked. I know you can't do that, but surely to goodness, Everton knew that there was only one more bad result away from getting sacked.
Well, you say that, and I know a story. I'm not going to reveal my sources there. A certain Chelsea player had fallen out with Mourinho, and I'm not going to name names, and he was told to hold fire. Don't do anything drastic now, because he won't be here much longer. Right. And he was told by the owner.
There you go.
So these conversations do happen. It's just surprising that Everton have let a player of that quality go. Right, defensively not brilliant, but as an attacking option with a left foot.
I've said before, I think he's second to Robertson in the league, personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, bizarre. If you see where they go, I think you'll probably find. If I was a betting man, I think you'll find that Martinez will end up back there.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure they'll take the punt on Lampard yet. I think, to be honest with you, all four of them, as you mentioned, would be a good fit. Because Rooney's doing one hell of a job at Derby County.
Yeah, if Rooney, I just think it's a bit too early for.
I agree with you, because he's got to look at what Lampard happened to at Chelsea. Interesting enough, they were better off this time last year, and when Lampard got the sack than Tuchel. I read that this week, but yeah, and actually, I wonder whether Rooney might think that he just wants to, because if he can get Derby out of the relegation zone, will have to be the greatest escape ever.
Yeah,
and that probably would be a bigger tick on a CV than going to Everton and end up finishing 10th.
Yeah, oh yeah,
because he's always going to get linked with Everton and Man United job, isn't he? Yeah. Or a bigger Premier League job.
Yeah, just needs a bit grounded. Right, okay, Wolves 3, Southampton 1. A result I didn't see coming because Wolves hadn't been free-flowing in the attack, and Southampton have. Yeah. So a bit of a surprise there.
They're going well, Wolves.
Yeah, and then I watched this game, Manchester United 2, Villa 2, obviously at Villa Park. United 2-0 up, cruising along, but you just felt that although United were probably in control first half, Fernandes was actually controlling the game and doing really well, but I think what happened was they were 1-0 to United at half time, and then they was just about to bring Coutinho on at 1-0, and then they go and make a mistake, Sanson. And they may already decided that Sanson was coming off, but Sanson's there at least a goal. He doesn't even get a chance to make amends for it because he got subbed straight after the mess.
He wasn't happy, was he?
No, but I think it's more frustration because he gave the ball away. It's not at all remotely about the fact they've just been brought off. He's frustrated the fact that he made the mistake that led to goal, put them 2-0 down. And you would say against a team of that quality, out of the game should be dead and buried. Anyway, little magicians only popped up and caused havoc. Wasn't just the only one because I thought Buendia had a good game going forward. I thought Dan Ings was average.
Ramsey's a good player.
Ramsey got into the game second half, was just nil and void first half. And then out of nowhere, Coutinho's hand in the first one where he gets to play the 1-2. Looks like he's going to open up to play it. Fred comes in and tackles. Forster Ramsey who gets the first one, and then Coutinho pops up at the back post and equalised to make it 2-2, and I was just so praying for them to get the winner then. But again, Wreck-It Ralph has not come himself in any glory. No. And then we moved to Sunday. So we had West Ham 2, Leeds 3. I always felt, you just got an inkling that West Ham had such a good run that it would be something like this would tip them over.
I think I said before that I think they're very good going forward, and they've got their own. And they rely a lot on Antonio as like the battering ram, and then Bowen's in great form, isn't he? Although he missed as a sitter, didn't he? But and Declan Rice, I think, is the best midfielder in the Premier League at the minute. He like we said last week, he's the old style. He can win with the ball, he can pass the ball, he can tackle, blah blah blah. But I just think he can get at him defensively, and I think Leeds proved that. Yeah.
Cut them open a few times and quite easily as well. You look at some of the goals, and then, like I said, there is a 3-2, last minute of the game, ball gets whipped in, takes it a bit of deflection, but falls perfectly to the ball, just a nod in, and decides for some reason to try and go with his chest, and then to get underneath and pushes it over from 2 yards.
It's more he would never try. If he tried to do that, we'd better do that, don't we?
No, it was 2 yards over the bar, and I was just like, unbelievable. And the other game was Liverpool versus Brentford. I am going to say, despite the scoreline, I am concerned that we huffed and puffed a lot. Our creativity wasn't really there, and I would just say that it was incessive pressure that's probably
and home fans.
That probably just brought Brentford in the end. And the worry is that without our front three, and people say it's the attack of the front three. Yeah, the speed is key to Liverpool's attack, but it's also the quality of the player.
Yeah.
And Bobby huffed and puffed around a lot. Jota wasn't really there and thereabouts, and Curtis Jones doesn't know where he should be. And they were kind of float between pushing Curtis further and Ox further, and Ox went there, and I know he went off with an ankle injury at the end and scored a great header. But I'm just concerned is that we're going to come up against a better defence.
It's the time to play, isn't it? That is for sure.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to concede many.
I mean, any side in the world would miss two players of Salah and Mane's quality, particularly Salah in the form that he's been on for 3 years or whatever.
Good news, Egypt are having a stinker.
They got through that, didn't they?
Did they go through?
They qualified in the end. I just seen that this morning.
Because I know they were second in the group.
Yeah,
and
they
they've won one and lost one.
They must have qualified last night. Yeah.
But let's hope they get knocked down the next round. Getting back. But Mane's haven't been doing well either. Senegal, and even stranger. Imagine how frustrating this must be. Senegal for the first 2 games didn't start with Mendy, Chelsea goal in goal.
Yeah.
QPR keeper.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
I'm just like,
And
I'm like, get a Jibberish out there, let's get him back.
He's good as well, that's not like, he's a good keeper.
And then we had a couple of games in the last couple of days. We had Brighton 1, Chelsea 1, which we alluded to before. Brighton getting a free header at the end of the game.
Yeah.
A big, strong, powerful header. Was it Webster?
Webster, yeah, captain for the night.
Yeah, and then
the boys!
for last night, 2-1 down, 95th minute. Bergwijn, who you continuously whinge about, equalises. And then 2 minutes later, pops up, rounds the keeper.
32 seconds left on the clock. It's still 2-1 down. I watched the first 20-25 before falling asleep. And Spurs, I must have fallen asleep just before Leicester scored, actually. But Spurs had battered them. I thought, actually, and we're playing well. 2 clear off the line. Kane's absolutely...
Well, he's at the post or crossbar.
Crossbar, met a corner header. You'll know, when you hit it, he's probably got it too well, and it's crashed against the bar. And I was like, and then I fell asleep. I woke up and it was 1-0 and just sort of went to bed because he didn't start till 1:45. So I did watch the things this morning, but yeah, there's like 32 seconds left on the clock, and they kind of get the equaliser, they bundle it home. What's quite good is that there's no reaction, so both Bergwijn and Kane immediately go to get the ball because the games in hand are really important for us. But have you seen the winner?
No.
So
I just read the report.
Obviously, Leicester have the kick-off, and they roll it back to Tielemans, who I think is a really good player, and he kind of takes on like Bergwijn. Well, not take him on, but obviously the Spurs players kind of force to get up front, which leaves him in the D of the centre circle, and he just tries to play a straight ball through, which Højbjerg cuts out, nips it to Kane, who's now just inside Leicester's half, who plays an absolute killer pass through to Bergwijn, who looks like he runs the keeper and slots it in. Like, from somebody of Tielemans' experience and class, just hose it, don't you, into the corner. I don't know whether they thought we're going to try and get a winner, but yeah, so brilliant. And just probably shows that's 9 games in the Conte, won 6, drawn 3, up to 5th, and if we win the games in hand, we actually go level of points with you. 45, yeah.
Well, I thought you were still a couple of points behind us.
No, if we win the games in hand. Your goal difference is way superior, because I think ours is about 5 and yours is 38 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens. But points in the board is even more important, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And then the other one was Brentford 1 and United 3.
Yeah.
Brentford got one back later on, didn't they?
Yeah, just don't really care about that.
Yeah, but right, okay, we'll move on from that and let's go with Ashes.
Well,
so the Ashes concluded.
Well, I've not really got enough time for what I really want to say. Ashes
concluded and was awesome, wasn't it?
Just unbelievable. I think you hear the term a lot, don't you? For what was it? You hear the term a lot for in football when they say, "Oh, he's lost the dressing room" or something like that. I think the batting collapse in the last Test match probably summed that up. Yeah, all right, you're getting battered. We've all kind of thrown it out a little bit, and it's been an arduous tour and it's difficult. But chasing 270, look, chasing 270 is a win. It was hot. It doesn't matter how many days you got left. It was highly unlikely. You only have to look back at the history of the Test match game. It would have been something. It would have been in the top 10 run chasing all the time. So it happens once in a lifetime. And probably this England side had that with Stokes at England 2 years ago. So to chase that's not the issue. The chance of batting out for the draw for 2.5 days ain't going to happen. But we got off to a good start, 68 for no wicket. And actually, Rob Coacher, our Aussie colleague, messaged me going, "Oh, finally a contest." And I just went, "Don't tempt fate." And literally, 65 minutes later, we're all out. Pathetic. And it just summed up. I know it was near the end, and last wicket, and the bowler, Ollie Robinson, just backing away. Just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And heads should roll. Whether they will or not, I've got no idea. But pathetic. Giles needs to go. Chris Silverwood needs to go. And Rooty, concentrate on your batting, pal.
So, interestingly, did you hear about the police got called?
What, to the bar afterwards?
But they said to the bar, but they were actually outside in the hotel bar, sat having a drink in the gear still.
Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning. Good session.
That's a decent effort. And I watched Lions walk off, and he didn't want to walk.
Yeah.
But why is Rooty there? Why is Jimmy Anderson there?
Well, because they're just having a beer with the mates, aren't they? And you know who filmed it? Is Thorpe, who's the assistant coach. I was reading on Twitter, like some of the journalists said, you're missing the point. The reason he's filmed it and then obviously deliberately leaked it is to show that they weren't being naughty. They weren't particularly. It was just they were asked to leave, so they left.
Yeah,
because it was 6 o'clock.
One person complained about noise.
Yeah, that was it. But yeah, it's a good effort. That 6 o'clock in the morning, still going.
Well, to be fair, she hasn't been back like that.
Okay.
Ladies Ashes starts.
Yeah, so the ladies Ashes takes a different format. They're playing. It's called the multi-facet one. So they play. I think it's 3 T20s, 1 Test match, and 3 ODIs, and the points are weighted. So England were going alright today. I saw that Danny White got 70. They set Australia 170 to win. But they lost. The debutant McGrath took 2 if not 3 wickets and ended up 91 not out. So yeah, we've still not won.
Same old England.
Talking of, just before you go on, talking of England away, right, in the Ashes, haven't won a Test match since 2011, and have lost since then. I've lost 15 Test matches to 0.
Oh dear. Well, interesting is the English Cricket Board have gone in a shock move to try and get tennis world number 1 Novak Djokovic as temporary batting coach. Yeah, the statement reads: "We acknowledge he doesn't have a background in our sport, but we couldn't overlook the fact it took Australia 2 weeks to get him out."
He's got a fair point. Fair point.
I don't think there's anything there. So
and on that,
we're going to quick talk about the tennis. So you've got Djokovic, the fittest man in the world, can't get in the country because he's ill. Oh, he's too healthy.
Too healthy. I don't know.
I've
lost the plot.
Yeah,
I've lost the
it's
plot
all very strange. But see, the Brits are doing really well there. Raducanu has gone out, and so has Murray.
Yeah, so Murray did well last week with him sort of 30. He's won a tour the other week, didn't he? And then he got to the semi-final, the final, last week in Sydney. But so he's gone out second round. So he's towards the twilight of his career, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. Like that hip injury, absolutely, finally knocked him for 6, so to speak.
Yeah, I think at this point, is it a case of why is he still continuously putting himself through this? Is it not a good time now to just bow out a bit of grace rather than continuously lose and then almost then get tarnished with, feel sorry for him?
Yeah, it's a bit
I just remember him through, when, I'm just trying to think back when Sampras was there, and he retired at the top, and he was literally like, I'm starting to go now, I've won these amount of titles, let's get out while I'm hot.
Because there's no doubt that he's had a tremendous career. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but I don't particularly mind the fella. He's been knighted, he's won some of the majors at Grand Slams. I'm with you. Just else, it's going to be embarrassing if he goes out first round every tournament or second round. I just have a feeling that he's going to try and get to Wimbledon and have a bit of one last
one swan song
there. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think that's what he did.
And this isn't a strange one. So Raducanu went out and she's blaming it on a blister on the hand.
Yeah.
Surely we're at that day and age now where this is avoidable.
You'd thought so. My concern with it is that 0 to hero so quickly, isn't it?
Yeah.
She immediately got rid of a coach, and not unsurprisingly to me, he's not really done anything since. She's 18 years old, for goodness sake. She did win a first round game, but I don't know. I worry for her. I hope that it's almost like, when you say in a cup upset, the side scored too early. She won that Grand Slam too early.
I just think that just highlights the inconsistency of women's tennis.
Yeah, and you said that before, didn't you? But let's hope not. She's obviously got some talent to be anywhere near and win a Grand Slam.
Yeah. Again, let's hope she peaks with Murray at Wimbledon. That would be really good. Right, so we are going to be talking a little bit about youth football. So Jack, first subject today of under 21, under 23 football yes, it's brilliant that they're in the Johnson's Paint Trophy, but you feel like they need more.
Well, it's on the back of something that I read about the news that they reckon that FIFA are going to come out and do some more rules on loan signings from 2024 thing, in which basically a side can only have a maximum of 6 in and 6 out.
Well, that's Chelsea absolutely hammered.
And that's the point, was it? And I've no I'll go on about them. They season on season have something like 40 players out on loan. And the reason I say that is that I'm a big believer, and even at, as soon as amateur sports or people develop, as soon as they can play senior sport, I think they learn so much more than playing with your peers, age group stuff, even if that age group stuff is professional 23 stuff. And clearly that's why the clubs send them out on loan to Fleetwood and down to Boss United in the Northern Premier or whatever it might be. And if they are going to stop them, the amount of players going out on loan, then surely something has to happen with these big, like I said, 23 academies. Do they play another cup competition? Like you mentioned the League Cup. I was thinking, can they enter the league pyramid? And I know people are against that, and I understand why. I just think they need more. They need more football.
When we originally discussed this, I was very much like, do not put them in the league. But the more I think about it now, is I just wonder if their standard might be too good. If you stuck them in, like we have the Northern Conference League and the Southern Conference League, is an opportunity to put them in there where they can't get any higher, where they're having to play in that. But I think my argument back to Jack before is that how much will this hamper other clubs in the fact that they rely on bringing in 1, 2, 3, 4. Like even when we talked to Jez at Lincoln, they're bringing 4 loanees.
Yeah.
And if the loanee is being sent from a big club where it's not costing them any money, that allows them to have a bigger, stronger squad where they can afford to bring in 4 loanees that cost them nothing. That allows the club to carry on living and surviving.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's ever going to be a wrong or right answer, because the last thing we want is, do we substitute any of our great clubs like Boston to then allow a Man City under 23 come in?
No,
and have a detrimental effect on
no,
them.
and I don't think that should happen.
But I just wonder if we look at a league where there's split on divides on North and South, but unfortunately we have to go all the way down to Conference North and South, which is below obviously the Conference League, to then look at implementing that. And then is that going to be too lower a standard for some of the academy teams?
I think, that were all valid points. Another thing I made before we came to record, I was like, or if squads or clubs should be made to have smaller squads, so that that young players at 16, 17, 18 aren't sold the pipe dream that you're going to be Chelsea's next Romelu Lukaku or Tottenham's next Harry Kane, because the fact of the matter is those big clubs don't have the balls to play the young kids.
Just on that, I wonder if that had happened, if Chelsea would still have Lukaku, De Bruyne and Salah in their team.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, good question. And others, and the loan system works. Kane is a perfect example of the loan system where 2 or 3 didn't work, and Tim Sherwood is his biggest thing. But what it did is it made him realise what he needed to do to become what he is now. Yeah. So it's not that the loan system doesn't work. I just feel that how many young players are lost from top clubs because they're not getting enough football. And I know people say, but if they're good enough, they'll play. They don't, because my club, and I've got this in front of me because I need to. So Makonde, who is under 23, like he's the best player. He had made 2 or 3 first team appearances, first Asian player to play for Spurs. Sold this. They reckon his class, under 23, rocks. Him and Dane Scarlett run the show. Sold 400,000. Some add-on to think as they go through, but I think fair play to him for going out to Blackburn, who look like they're on the hill, and he wants to play football, blah blah blah. But and the reason being, it's easy for me to say, well, hang on a minute, you've got Scarlett who scores loads of goals, give him a run inside. This lad, give him a run inside. Why are we going to try and buy X, Y, and Z? Or you don't think Ndombele is good enough? Play this lad. He's a creative midfielder. But the fact of the matter is, Conte, Mourinho, Pochettino, Klopp, even if he was at Spurs, and they need Champions League football. They're not going to risk playing those young ones.
That's the problem. It's too much of a risk.
Yeah, And we've got to try and alleviate that by giving these guys more football, more exposure to know whether they're good enough or not.
Yeah. Very interesting.
How you do it, I don't know.
I don't know. I think if you found a solution for that, you'd be a very, very rich person.
Yeah, because we said before as well, there's places out there where clubs are taking a punt on a player in case he's a £100 million player and not actually thinking, does he fit into our system? How good a player really is he? Should we be, sending him elsewhere?
I think there's an element of scouting now which goes into a little bit more detail. Probably 10, 15 years ago when your dad was doing it, where they do look at profiling and psychology aspects of that. But yeah, you're completely right. Is that the risk of not having the next £100 million player potentially stunting the growth of some of these young lads?
Yeah.
But if you can work out an answer, if you've even got an answer out there, get in contact with us. We'll promote it. We'll take the money and we'll give you some.
We've got a direct line to the FA.
Yeah. It's that red phone in the corner.
Yeah.
Right, fancy football. So the winner this week, Jack, you've had a look, and it is
your mate,
John Keeney.
John Keeney
From Preston. Well, John Keeney.
93 points.
So Johnny boy, get yourself he did work for Virgin Trains. Don't think you can get a train directly to us, but you might have to get a flight, mate.
Talking of trains, do you follow the fellow on Instagram? The young lad.
The train gig.
Fabulous. He had a picture with Thierry Henry.
Did he really?
Yeah, on the
Is
train.
he a bit like that TikTok guy, that black lad that just does this all the time?
I don't know.
Have you not seen that? So there's like stupid people do things where they've done something ridiculous and he goes, and then he does the simple version of it.
No, I'm not
So
seeing
it's
it.
like, rather than cut a bottle open, they'll stab a knife in and cut it round. And then he'll go, he doesn't even speak on it. But he's made millions off it.
This train fella. I can't think what he's called.
Train spotter. We'll have a look
Must
out.
be John's mate, I reckon. Must be.
But yeah, end of the day, Jack.
What do we know?